Now, power flow analysis equations. So, in this power flow analysis equations, as all of you know, the complex power SI, that is power injected into ith bus, is VI product II conjugate, voltage multiplied by current, conjugate of the complex conjugate of the current. So SI is VI plus II conjugate. So same thing you can write it as PI plus JQI. PI plus JQI, it is in real and imaginary components, and that is VI conjugate is SI. So VI is the per unit voltage at bus, then II conjugate is the complex conjugate of the per unit current injected into ith bus. PI and QI are the per unit real and reactive powers. Okay. Therefore, II conjugate, from the same equation, II conjugate is PI plus JQI divided by VI. Okay. So II, instead of conjugate, I can take II taking the complex conjugate on both sides. II becomes PI minus JQI divided by VI conjugate. Is it not? II conjugate is PI plus JQI divided by VI. What is II? You take conjugate. So II conjugate whole conjugate is II. II is PI plus JQI divided by VI whole conjugate. That becomes PI minus JQI by VI conjugate. And then PI minus JQI is equal to VI conjugate sigma YII YIJ VJ. Please see that. So II is PI minus JQI divided by VI conjugate. That VI conjugate is nothing but sigma j equal to 1 to n, ultimately Yij Vj Vi conjugate. Okay, that is Ia is substituted. Ia, you can see, Ia is sigma Yij Vj. You substitute that. So if you substitute that, you will be getting Pi minus JQA is Vi conjugate Ia. That Vi conjugate Ia, if I substitute Ia, that is sigma Yij Vj Vi conjugate. And let us write down each and everything. Yij is its magnitude and angle, corresponding angle theta ij. So Yij is magnitude angle. Likewise Vi. Vi is its magnitude Vi, angle delta I. Normally V corresponding angle delta, Y corresponding angle theta we represent. So Pi minus JQI, now it is sigma. I am writing the magnitudes. Yij magnitude, Vj magnitude, Vi magnitude, and overall angle, it is theta ij for Yij, and delta j is for Vj, and delta I for Vi. And why it is minus delta I? It is because Vi conjugate there. So conjugate angle is with negative sign. So finally Pi minus JQI is sigma Yij Vj Vi, product of all these magnitudes, and resultant angle is theta ij plus delta j minus delta I. Then Pi, I am taking this JQA minus JQA onto the right hand side, so that Pi and Qi, the real and reactive powers, you separate out the real component of Pi minus JQi, likewise reactive component of Pi minus JQi. So Pi is sigma, all this Yij, Vj, Vi, then angle, it is cos of this angle, that results real power. And if you take sine of the same angle with negative sign, because minus JQi is that, is it not? Qa is minus of sigma Yij, Vj, Vi, sine of theta ij plus delta j minus delta I is Qi. So Pi, real power injected into ith bus, likewise reactive power injected into ith bus. So these are the equations which are required for conducting load flows. Now, what is load flow problem? So, load flow problem, to start with, we need the single line diagram of the power system. So, as all of we know, whatever system that we are going to consider, you need the single line representation of that system, and the data for computer process, or to evaluate the solution through computer, we need data pertaining to the buses, transformers, and transmission lines. We should know the values, like the specifications of all buses, and then transmission lines, transformers. All this data is must. Then a bus at a node at which one or many lines are connected. A bus is nothing but it is the junction, is it not? So at which many lines, loads, generators are connected. That is a bus. And then the in a power system, each node or bus is associated with four quantities. Now, if you observe a bus, it is attached with its voltage, corresponding angle, then real power injected into it, and then reactive power injected. Four quantities. So, four quantities or four values are attached to any bus. And in load flow problem, out of these four, two are specified. That means two values out of four, two values are known values, or which are specified or given. Then remaining two are to be obtained through solution. So out of four quantities, two are specified or two are given. That is nothing but data, given data. Then remaining two are to be solved using load flow solution. And now bus classification. Depending on the values that are specified at any bus, the buses are classified. As we are telling, out of four quantities, two are given and two are to be solved. So depending on the values that are specified or given, buses are classified into three. So classification of buses, it is, first is slack bus, which is also called as swing bus. Then second bus, load bus, it is nothing but PQ bus. Then third, generator bus or PV bus. So total buses are classified. Classification is based on the values that are specified. Okay. So depending on the two quantities out of four specified, these are classified. So slack bus, PQ bus, PV bus, or it is swing bus, load bus, and generator bus respectively. Now you see clearly in this slide, swing bus or slack bus, in which the specified values and then the values to be calculated, all that they are mentioned here. So first, slack bus, you see defined or given values V and delta are normally given. So V, delta, PQ, these are the total quantities, out of which if V and delta, that means the magnitude of voltage, and then delta if they are given, that is called slack bus. And if V and delta are given, what are the unknowns? Unknowns are nothing but P, A, Q, I. P and Q are unknowns. So in this slack bus, normally this V, which is 1, that is given, 1 per unit will be given, and delta corresponding to that V is 0. So slack bus is nothing but a reference bus. That means all other voltages, everything, they are with respect to this slack bus only. So slack bus is always only 1 in any system, because it is the reference bus. So there exists only one bus, and normally its voltage is given as 1 angle 0. That is, magnitude of voltage is 1, V1 is 1, and delta 1 is 0. So that's what is given here. There is only one bus of this type in any given power system, and this is numbered as first bus for convenience. So you might be having n buses in a system, but always the first bus we take it as a reference bus. First bus is slack bus, in which voltage is 1 per unit and its angle is 0. So 1 angle 0 are the specifications of slack bus. That's why it is also called reference bus. So there will be always only one such slack bus in any system. Then coming to the next type, second type, load or PQ buses. So here P and Q are specified as it is mentioned PQ bus. PQ bus means P is given, Q is given. So unknowns are the values to be defined or calculated. They are V and delta. P and Q are given, V and delta are to be obtained. Then application, it is a pure load bus. No generators at this bus. It's a load bus means no generation at that bus. And also the most common bus comprising almost 80% of the buses is of this type. So mostly you get load buses. Majority of the buses are load buses in any given system. The next third type, it is the generator bus or PV bus. So in PV bus, P and V are specified. And then the unknowns are obviously Q and delta. So in a PV bus, P and V are specified, Q and delta are unknowns. So this bus is always a generator connected to it. That's why it is called generator bus. And PV bus comprises about 10% of all the power system. That means total power system, as I said, in the entire system, you can see 10% of the buses are of PV type. Then methods to solve the load flow problem. So normally the power flow or load flow, these are non-linear equations and they cannot be solved directly. Normally we cannot obtain its solution in a straightforward method. Only the numerical iterative algorithms are to be used. Why? Because the quantities that are involved here, they are all complex values. Even though we say only two unknown quantities, these are all again complex. So complex differential equations, non-linear differential equations, that too. So complex non-linear differential equations, they are to be solved only through trial and error technique, which is called iterative technique of the system. So only we need to use non-linear equations which are to be solved using iterative algorithms or iterative techniques. Trial and error technique, that is systematic trial and error techniques, they are best suited for our power system calculations is Gauss-Seidel method, popularly known as GS method. Second one is Newton-Raphson method, NR method. Then decoupled Newton-Raphson method, that is the third one. Then fast decoupled method is the fourth one. So basically we will be using Gauss-Seidel and Newton-Raphson methods in general. And if the systems are very big, to improve the speed of convergence, we go in for decoupled and fast decoupled methods. These are the four methods, out of which we will be using mostly the first two methods for many of the systems to obtain a load flow. Okay. The standard procedure to be followed for any of these load flow solutions is first create bus admittance matrix of the power system. So you know what is Y bus. So form Y bus using step-by-step method or by direct inspection method or whatever you feel convenient. You should have that Y bus ready. Then second, make an initial estimate of the voltages, both magnitude and angle at each bus of the system. So this is what is normally an expert or a person who is having more exposure to the problems and all, he can do effectively. You should have some initial guess. That's what we call initial guess. So you should be able to guess properly the initial values. If your initial values are effective, you can get convergence quickly. You can get the solution fast. Otherwise, if the initial guess values are more deviated from the original, you need to carry out many number of iterations which consumes time and all. So an experts can definitely guess these values better. Then third, substitute in the power flow equations to determine deviations. That means whatever guess you made, they are to be substituted. Then find out what is the difference between the previous value and the present value. That is what we call the error. Deviations are nothing but errors. If error is small, your guess is right. If error is more, the guess is not in the range. Anyway, you need to go on substituting one after the other the values, and finally that is what is called update the estimated values based on some common numerical algorithm like use Gauss-Seidel method or Newton-Raphson method, substitute and then find out the updated value to previous value. What is the difference? That is the error. Again substitute next updation. So likewise it is to be continued. It's a process to be continued till you get the error exactly 0. If that error becomes 0, that means deviation between previous value and present value, if it is 0, that is called the convergence of the system. That is the perfect solution of the system. So normally obtaining a perfect solution is again a tough process. So we aim at certain marginal deviation. The solution is minimal deviation with minimal deviation. Then we stop continuing the iterations. So updating is called the iteration. So first iteration, second iteration, third iteration, likewise we continue the iteration and we observe in each case what is the deviation. If deviation is within the range specified, I say the error can be 0.001. So if you reach that value, we can stop iteration. If you want exact 100% solution, error must be 0. Okay, so normally we need not go up to that 100% accuracy. So we specify error can be 0.001, 0.0001, like that, some value. So if that is reached, we can conclude that the system is converged and you can publish the results. Okay, so in next class we continue with the Gauss-Seidel method, then Newton-Raphson method and all. So for time being, you try to go through all these slides, understand what is load flow studies, what are the bus classification and all. Thank you.